Warning, chosen ones, you're standing on the edge of a divine shift. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. God is about to change your reputation overnight in a way so powerful, it will shake everything you thought you knew about your life. This isn't a gentle shift. This is an upheaval, a divine confrontation of everything that's been said, believed, and held against you. The truth is about to break free from the chains that have tried to hold it back. For too long, you've lived under the shadow of false perceptions, trapped by opinions that never reflected who you truly are. People thought they had you figured out, didn't they? But they were wrong. And now, God is stepping in to set the record straight. But here's the kicker. This isn't going to be a slow, easy process. This is going to hit like a storm, sweeping away every lie and every doubt. Are you ready for the storm that's coming? Because once this revelation is unleashed, you won't recognize the life you've been living. You'll look back and wonder how you ever survived in the shadow of those false identities. You've been warned. Comment 777 if you're ready to witness this game-changing shift, and if you've supported this journey with a super thanks. Thank you. But hold on tight, because the next part is going to be even more intense. Keep watching, if you dare. God's chosen ones. God changing your reputation overnight, too unreal to ignore. They were talking about someone you used to be, the person they thought they knew, the version of you they underestimated. Little did they know, what they saw as a weakness was actually God's refining process. What they didn't understand was that God was working tirelessly behind the scenes, shaping your character with every challenge, layering your strength with every trial. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 2:9. God was molding you into a force that could never be overlooked. And what they didn't see was how the very struggles they thought would break, you were the ones that were building you. Every failure, every setback was a divine blueprint. The moment when you felt broken was the moment God was doing His deepest work in you. It was never about them understanding. They never saw the hidden work of grace. They only saw the surface, not the foundation being laid beneath you. But God's vision for you was always greater than the limitations of their eyes. And so, you carried on unshaken, undeterred, knowing that the world would one day recognize the strength they failed to see in you. They underestimated what healing would do. Healing isn't a one-time event, it's a process, a divine reawakening. They thought the hurt would keep you down. But what they failed to realize was that God was using every wound as a stepping stone, building resilience within you. This is exactly what He did with David. The boy who was once a mere shepherd in the fields, overlooked by his father and brothers, became a king. And God didn't need to rush His process. But the Lord said to Samuel, "Do not look on his appearance or on the height of his stature, for the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart." Achat Samuel 16. What they missed was that each painful step in your journey was the shaping of your character. As you healed, you became more than you were before. God was not just restoring you, He was creating a new version of you, one forged in the fire of adversity. The trials you faced were not to destroy you, they were God's way of refining you. And though it hurt, it was the only path to the greatness He had planned for you. You didn't rush to prove anything. That was the most powerful thing about you. The world may have expected you to hurry, to force your way to the front, to shout your worth from the rooftops. But you waited, and in that waiting, you became more powerful than they ever could have imagined. Be still before the Lord, and wait patiently for him. Fret not yourself over the one who prospers in his way, over the man who carries out evil devices. Psalm 37:7. You knew that time would expose what intention never could. You allowed silence to work in your favor, to build your reputation in ways that action alone never could. There is a strength in waiting that many cannot understand. In the silence, you found your true voice. While others rushed to get ahead, you stayed still, knowing that God's timing would reveal the right moment. Your patience became your weapon, and as time passed, the world began to realize that your quiet strength was not weakness, but a demonstration of divine power at work in you. When the moment came, you would step forward, not to prove a point, but to fulfill your purpose. They whispered about you, their voices hushed with the intent to poison the world's perception of you, believing that the lies would travel faster than the truth could catch up. But here's the truth that no one can escape. God is about to ensure that his truth will outrun every single one of those whispers. And it won't be loud. It won't be clumsy. It will be surgical, like the precise blade of a surgeon, cutting through every lie with divine accuracy, revealing the truth for all to see. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. John 8:32. God's truth doesn't need to shout it, just needs to stand. And when it stands, no lie can stand against it, like the rising sun that pushes back the night. The truth will burn away the shadows that were cast upon your name. Those who once whispered in secret will find that their words can't silence the power of what God has been doing in your life. The light of truth will shine, and those who tried to hide it will only find themselves exposed. Imagine a tree standing firm in the middle of a storm. The winds howl, trying to bend the tree, yet the roots run deep, and it remains unmoved. The whispers were like those winds, trying to uproot you, trying to distort the reality of who you are. But your foundation was never fragile. The truth of who you are, anchored in God's purpose, is unshakable. When the storm settles and the dust clears, those who once tried to knock you down will be left wondering how you stood so tall. The righteous shall flourish like a palm tree and grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Psalm 92:10. The strength they sought to diminish will now become the very evidence of God's work in you. You didn't rush to prove anything. That was the most powerful thing about you. The world may have expected you to hurry, to force your way to the front, to shout your worth from the rooftops. But you waited, and in that waiting, you became more powerful than they ever could have imagined. Be still before the Lord, and wait patiently for him. Fret not yourself over the one who prospers in his way, over the man who carries out evil devices. Psalm 37:7. You knew that time would expose what intention never could. You allowed silence to work in your favor, to build your reputation in ways that action alone never could. There is a strength in waiting that many cannot understand. In the silence, you found your true voice. While others rushed to get ahead, you stayed still, knowing that God's timing would reveal the right moment. Your patience became your weapon, and as time passed, the world began to realize that your quiet strength was not weakness, but a demonstration of divine power at work in you. The storms of life didn't push you into action. They refined you, preparing you for the moment when God would open doors no one could close. In nature, the most beautiful flowers often grow in the quietest, most patient ways. The seed doesn't rush to bloom, it quietly breaks through the soil in its own time. Just as a flower blooms in its season, your time to shine will come, and when it does, it will be clear to all that your waiting was not passive, but the very preparation for the greatness God had in store for you. The world will soon see that while they hurried, you were being made ready for something far greater. But now, the exposure begins. Not your exposure, but theirs. Those who tried to keep your name small because your very presence made them uncomfortable. The ones who saw your potential and feared it. So they chose to belittle you, to make you doubt your own worth. These are the same people who called your depth too much. They were committed to staying shallow, to living in a world of surface-level conversations and fleeting distractions. They didn't know that depth is where God's power is most evident, where true transformation takes place. The depths of the riches and wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable are His judgments and how inscrutable His ways. Romans 11:33. Their judgment of you was based on their inability to see beyond the surface. They could not comprehend the power God was planting in you. But that's the way of the world shallow, quick to judge, and slow to see the hidden depths of a person's heart. God didn't create you to be shallow, but to carry a depth that would one day move mountains. The depth they dismissed was the very thing that will lift you to places they could never imagine. God has chosen the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. 1 Corinthians 1:27. Your depth is not your weakness, it is your divine calling. Like an iceberg floating in the sea, the majority of your strength has been unseen. But now, as the waters of time recede, the full weight of who you are will be revealed. The same people who ignored the depth within you will now have to confront it. They will see not only who you are, but who God has always intended for you to become. The exposure is not just for you, it's for them to see the truth that was hidden beneath the surface all along. As they watched you grow, they didn't understand what was happening. They saw your silence as weakness, but it was your strength. They couldn't see the invisible work God was doing inside of you, the monumental shifts taking place in your soul. And now, as your voice sharpens, as your strength emerges, they'll realize the truth. They were never in control. The most dangerous thing to those who underestimated you, they underestimated the power of God working behind the scenes. While they were watching from the sidelines, not understanding, God was at work, like a master sculptor chiseling away at the rough edges of a marble block. God was shaping you into a work of art. We are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Ephesians 2:10. They may have tried to knock you down, but what they didn't see was the divine chiseling taking place inside you. You were never meant to fit into their mold. You were never meant to live by their standards. They could never see you for who you truly were because they were too busy limiting themselves to what they knew. But God, in His infinite wisdom, was creating a new path for you, one that no human could have orchestrated. And now, as you step into your destiny, they will understand that everything you went through was part of the plan. The power of your testimony will reveal not only who you are, but who God is. You'll speak the same truths they used to laugh at truths they dismissed, mocked, or ignored. But this time, when you speak to them, it won't be the same. The weight of those words will fall with the force of divine authority. You've always known these truths, but now you carry them with a new energy. a different power. It's not just the words themselves that will land, it's the spirit behind them. The Word of God is alive and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. Hebrews 4:10. The truths you speak are no longer just words, they are instruments of change. Declarations that can shift the very course of your life and the lives of those around you. How many times did you feel that your words were dismissed as meaningless? You knew, deep down, that the time would come when the weight of your words would break through. And now, that time has arrived. Think of a skilled lawyer making a closing argument in a high-stakes case. The evidence is laid out in such a way that it's impossible to deny. The same is true for your words. As you speak, your truths are like the final, irrefutable evidence in a courtroom, piercing through the opposition with undeniable force. The people who once laughed at what you believed, who dismissed your dreams and ideas as naive, will now have to reckon with the reality of what you carry. The Lord said to my Lord, "Sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet." Psalm 110:1. Just as a lawyer's argument sways the jury, so will your words sway the hearts of those who once rejected you. They won't just hear the truth anymore. This time, they will feel it land. It's like a seismic shift, a moment of reckoning that can't be ignored. The same way a breakthrough technology transforms an entire industry, your words will transform the atmosphere around you. What was once dismissed will now be acknowledged with awe and respect. The truth you carry isn't just for your own validation, it's for the world to see that God's plan for your life is unstoppable. What are you waiting for? The world is now ready to hear your truth. You'll stand in the same spirit you've always had, the same unwavering faith, the same quiet confidence that has been growing within you for years. But this time, it won't go unnoticed. They'll see it. They'll feel it. They'll recognize the weight of what you carry, the authority that comes from walking in God's purpose. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness. Ephesians 6:12. This isn't just a battle of words or ideas. What you are carrying is a spiritual force that can dismantle the strongest opposition. Have you ever felt like the quiet confidence you had was mistaken for weakness? Now, as the world begins to take notice, you will see the power of that quiet strength revealed. Consider the process of a seasoned architect designing a monumental structure. The initial plans might seem like sketches, but as the project progresses, the weight of the design, the complexity of the structure, and the intention behind it become clearer. The same applies to you. You've been in the process of construction all along, and now, as the foundation has been laid, your presence carries the weight of years of preparation. Those who overlooked you will now see not just your presence, but the strength that comes with it. In the corporate world, imagine a once overlooked employee who, after years of hard work and dedication, suddenly rises to a leadership position. The weight of their new role isn't just about the title, it's about the experience, the knowledge, and the respect they've earned. You, too, carry that weight not because you sought it, but because God has been preparing you in the quiet moments, in the unseen work. The stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Psalm 118:22. And now, as you stand, you are the foundation of something much greater, and they will be forced to acknowledge it. On one side, you exude a different kind of energy right now, an energy born not of self-will but of divine purpose. This energy is a result of your alignment with God's will, and it radiates outward, impacting everyone you encounter. It's the energy of confidence, of knowing who you are in Christ, of walking with the authority He has given you. For God gave us a spirit, not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. 2 Timothy 1:7. This power is not about force, it's about alignment with heaven's plans, which can shift the very fabric of reality. How do you feel when you step into a room now? Do you sense the shift in the energy around you? In the field of psychology, there is a term called cognitive reframing, where individuals shift their perspective on a situation, changing how they perceive their reality. This shift allows them to transform their environment and their actions, making what once felt impossible now feel attainable. Similarly, you are reframing the atmosphere around you. You've aligned your spirit with God's purpose, and now the very air around you is shifting. On the other side, God is recalibrating the atmosphere around you. The circumstances that once worked against you, the systems that tried to suppress you, God is now aligning them with His perfect will. Just as a conductor brings together an orchestra, adjusting each instrument to create a harmonious sound, God is aligning every aspect of your life for the symphony He is composing. Every note, every instrument, every moment of your life is being fine-tuned to produce a divine melody that only you can play. All things work together for good for those who love God, who are called according to His purpose. Romans 8:28. As you stand in the center of this divine recalibration, the people around you will feel the change. They won't be able to ignore it. Just as no one can ignore a powerful new force entering a room, the atmosphere will no longer be the same because you are walking in alignment with God's purpose. And that energy will recalibrate everything you touch. Can you feel the shift? Can you sense the world changing as you step into the fullness of your calling? He's shifting the lens through which they see you, not to pump up your ego, but to restore the truth that was buried beneath the weight of misunderstanding. This isn't about a superficial glow-up. This is God, with divine precision, uprooting years of misperception and replacing it with clarity. He is rewriting the narrative of your life in a way that will leave no room for doubt. Can you feel it? There is a shift in the air, an awakening that's taking place not just in your heart, but in the very atmosphere surrounding you. The world will begin to see you not as you were, but as you truly are, a masterpiece, crafted by the hand of God, just like Oprah Winfrey, who went from a difficult childhood filled with trauma and rejection to becoming a global icon of empowerment and philanthropy. God is changing the lens that others use to judge you. Your worth was never about impressing people, yet your healing and growth went unnoticed. You weren't out there seeking approval or validation. No, you were quietly being molded, shaped by God's hand, where no one could see. The world didn't see your tears, your quiet prayers, your battles behind closed doors. But God was with you every step of the way. And now, the truth is about to be revealed. Your growth didn't come with the flashy announcement they expected. But now, the moment has come where they will see the change, and it will be undeniable. They will witness your transformation, and the beauty of God's work in you will astonish them. It's almost as if the universe had conspired to keep them in the dark until now. Do you remember the words of Isaiah 60:1? Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. This is your moment, a light that no one expected. because they were too busy judging by their own limited perceptions, is now illuminating the truth of who you truly are. The truth of who you are is more radiant than they ever imagined. They will see you differently, and it's going to shake them to their core. You are not who they thought you were. You've been transformed by the grace of God, and the world can no longer ignore the changes within you. Like a bright star that emerges after a long night, you will shine and light the path for others to follow. Let's take a moment to think about this. One of the most powerful moments in classical music is Ode to Joy from Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. It is a triumph of the human spirit, a dramatic and rousing celebration of overcoming struggle. Just as Beethoven, in his moment of deafness and despair, gave the world one of the most triumphant pieces of music, you too have endured and risen above adversity. Your life, much like his symphony, is a crescendo of moments where silence has given way to sound, and struggle has given way to triumph. You were never the sum of your failures or the judgments cast upon you. You are the culmination of God's will being manifest in your life. And just like a symphony, your story is unfolding in movements that will come together in perfect harmony, revealing the glory of the God who orchestrated it all. Now, let's talk about J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, who faced years of rejection before her manuscript was accepted. At her lowest, she was a single mother living on welfare, yet she kept going, believing in her story. She trusted in a vision that others could not see, and because of that, the world was forever changed. She didn't try to impress anyone, but instead she persevered. She trusted in her journey, and now, she's one of the most successful authors in history. Just like her, you have walked through your own dark night of the soul, but you kept moving forward, unseen, silently shaping your destiny. And the moment is coming when the world will finally notice. You, too, will be the one whose faith, perseverance, and quiet belief in your own calling will inspire generations to come. The question is, how long before they finally realize? How long before they understand that you were never defined by their expectations? The shift is coming. And when it happens, their skepticism will turn to awe. Just like the towering mountains that are shaped by forces beneath the Earth's surface, you have been shaped by forces unseen. And now you will stand tall and unshakable. Like an ancient oak tree whose roots have dug deep into the earth, you will stand firm, impervious to the winds of doubt, and your branches will stretch towards the heavens, a testimony to the power of divine strength. In nature, we see the cycles of life, seasons changing, storms passing, and the sun rising again. But in God's timing, you are about to witness a new season in your life. Your reputation, once marred by misunderstanding and lies, will be restored not by your own hand, but by the divine hand that has been shaping you in the shadows. This moment is not just personal, it is a cosmic shift that will echo across the generations. You will be a beacon of light, guiding others through the storms they face. This is not just a personal victory, it's a cosmic shift that will ripple through the lives of those around you. Your transformation will be the spark that ignites the faith of others, proving that God's timing is perfect and His plans are always good. And just like the words of Psalm 23:5, you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. God will set the table, and the ones who doubted you will have no choice but to watch. They will see you not just as who you were, but who you have always been destined to be. The table has been set. The feast is prepared. And now, those who once scoffed will sit in awe of God's faithfulness to you. Your victory is not just for you, it's a testimony to the world that with God, all things are possible. Let's not forget the words of 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone. The new is here. This is your transformation. The old is gone, and the new is rising. Not just in you, but for the whole world to witness. The old wounds, the scars of your past, are being washed away. You are a new creation, one who will walk with a new purpose, a new destiny, and a new strength that will carry you through the storms of life. Now, stand firm. Don't shrink back when the truth about who you are begins to unfold. Like the mighty oak tree that no storm can uproot, you've been prepared for this moment. The foundations have been laid. The storm has passed. And now your true self will shine through. The time has come. Stand tall. Stand proud. And know that the world will never be the same again. For years, they've lived with a distorted image of you, shaped by their biases and assumptions. But now, the time has come for the truth to be revealed. This isn't about settling a score or retribution. This is God stepping in, declaring that enough is enough. As it says in Romans 12:19, do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, it is mine to avenge, I will repay, says the Lord. God's justice is about to unfold, like the mighty rivers that break free from their constraints after a long drought. Your truth will flow, unstoppable and powerful. The world's misunderstanding of you is coming to an end, and they will be forced to confront the reality of who you are, not based on their flawed perceptions, but through the lens of divine truth. The light that God has placed in you is not a light that can be dimmed by the shadows of others' judgments. You never needed a microphone. You just needed alignment. Alignment with God's will. Alignment with the truth of who you were created to be. This alignment was never about proving your worth. It was always about trusting in the divine purpose and timing that was set for you before the foundation of the world. Matthew 6:33 says, but seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. This alignment was always your priority. And now, that divine alignment is radiating from you, and the world can no longer ignore it. It's not the noise that gets their attention, it's the quiet power of a life lived with purpose, grounded in faith and trust in God. You'll notice it in the way people address you differently. Their tone shifts. Their words become more careful. In the same way, a rose begins to bloom, slowly, but undeniably, revealing its true beauty. People will start to recognize the grace and wisdom you carry. This shift isn't sudden, but it is inevitable. Those who once spoke over you now hesitate to speak, because they realize your presence carries weight. This is the beginning of your truth being acknowledged, like an architect who has quietly worked on a masterpiece for years. Only to reveal it when it is complete, the world will see the depth of your strength and resilience. In the way certain opportunities come with respect baked in. No longer do you need to beg or chase. The doors are opening because you've shown the world that your alignment with your purpose is unquestionable. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach will now present themselves naturally, as though they've been waiting for you to step into your destiny. The energy around you has shifted so profoundly that things will no longer happen because of your effort alone. Just as a powerful current can move a ship forward without the oarsman having to paddle, your energy now moves everything it touches forward. In the way those who once dismissed you now hesitate before speaking your name. Your name, once spoken with indifference or even derision, is now spoken with a certain reverence. This shift is like the changing of seasons, where what was once dormant, cold, and barren now springs to life with vibrant colors and new possibilities. Just like a once cracked vase, now repaired, that reflects the light perfectly. Your presence is now radiant and undeniable. Your energy is a reflection of the truth you've carried all along. Now seen by the world, they can no longer misjudge or overlook you. As Proverbs 3:6 reminds us, in all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. There's something bestrumbin of there, the light had been trapping, and a ride. This is the outcome of keeping faith and trust. Even in the hardest times, you have stood firm in your belief. Even when the world seemed to turn its back on you, it's in those moments, when the storm rages and everything seems lost, that your foundation was solidified. God has seen your persistence, your unwavering faith, and now you stand tall as proof of his faithfulness. Just like Gemma Hill, a sports journalist who faced immense pressure and criticism for standing up for her beliefs. Your trust in God's plan has carried you through. And now, it's evident to all, your faith wasn't in vain. Now, heaven has set your name in places where defense isn't needed. Your reputation is secure in the truth, and your presence is the proof that God's will is unfolding exactly as it should. Just as Isaiah 40:31 says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint." Rimasware, I can to the collide, not aloud. Aggressive entrance. Just clarity, truth, and presence. When the storm subsides, the clarity of the sky is unmistakable. This is how your presence will be felt. You do not need to shout to be heard. Your life, aligned with God's will, speaks voluminous, like a towering mountain standing proudly among the clouds. Your presence now towers above the noise of the world. This clarity will not be ignored. As the rays of the sun burn away the mist, your truth will shine brighter than anything else, leaving no room for misinterpretation. John 8:32 reminds us, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." The truth you carry will set you free and set others free as well. And for the first time, it will be impossible to mislabel you again. What was once overlooked, ignored, or misunderstood is now impossible to mislabel. The truth that God has placed in you is like a lighthouse to the lost ships. There will be no more confusion, no more labels. Your light will shine so brightly that anyone who encounters it will recognize it for what it is. Like a diamond in the dark, you will be the clarity in a world that's been clouded by judgment and misunderstanding. The time has come for the world to see you as you truly are, unmistakably, undeniably, and powerfully aligned with God's divine purpose. But here's what no one talks about. It's not just the rejection that hurts. It's the long season afterward when nothing seems to move. When the silence is louder than the betrayal, you carry yourself with grace. But the questions grow heavier. Was I wrong? Did I imagine the call? Maybe they were right. And yet something deep in you would never fully let go of the truth. That unrelenting whisper in your spirit, refuses to die down, reminding you of the moment you first felt heaven's hand on your shoulder. Even when doubt circles like a vulture, you feel that divine ember flickering inside, testifying that rejection is not the end, it is merely a pause in God's greater symphony. There are seasons where it feels like the weight of the world is pressing down on you, and the silence around you becomes deafening. The rejection. Yes, that's painful, but the real agony is in the quiet that follows. The long stretch of time where it seems like everything stands still. You question yourself, wondering if the call you felt so deeply was just a fleeting moment of misguided conviction. The voices of doubt echo louder than ever. You start asking yourself, did I hear God correctly? Was I too hasty? Maybe they were right about me all along. It's in these moments of doubt that the true battle begins, not just the battle against rejection, but the internal war of keeping your faith intact when the external world offers no evidence of progress. And in that war, every unanswered prayer feels like a weight. Yet in the unseen, God is fortifying your spirit. Like a craftsman who strengthens steel by pressing it under pressure, your heart is being molded for endurance. It is at this crossroads that many give up, succumbing to the pressure of a world that only celebrates immediate results. The quiet battle of faith becomes a lonely journey. But even in that silence, something deep within you holds onto the truth that was planted long ago. Just as Psalm 23:4 says, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff. They comfort me." It's in these dark moments when God's presence is most powerful. His rod and staff, representing His guidance and protection, are still with you, even when you can't see them. The valley doesn't last forever, but it teaches you to lean on His unseen hand. And with every step, though small and shaky, you are proving that faith is not about the evidence, it is about the trust in what cannot be seen. You carry yourself with grace, because there is an unspoken strength that comes from knowing that the journey is not defined by what others see, but by what is happening inside you. It's like the quiet resilience of a tree whose roots grow deeper in the soil while its branches remain unseen. Your growth is happening in the hidden places, beneath the surface. And while it feels like you're standing still, you are becoming stronger and more deeply rooted in your faith. Just as an architect designs a foundation long before the building rises, God is strengthening your base so that when the world finally sees your structure, it will not crumble. You may feel invisible to people, but you are never invisible to heaven. And in that hidden growth, heaven is preparing a testimony no storm can erase. This period of silence is not punishment, it is preparation. God is not withholding, He is preparing. Just like Ludwig van Beethoven, who composed some of his most brilliant works in the midst of deafness, you too are creating something beautiful in the silence. Beethoven's Missa Solemnis, one of his most profound works, came at a time when he could no longer hear the music he composed. But in that deafness, he wrote with more passion, more depth, more power. You, too, are being prepared to create something that will resound far beyond what you can see. In fact, history shows us that silence often precedes masterpieces. Think of a seed lying underground before breaking into light. What feels like stagnation is actually gestation, the holy pause before an explosion of destiny. Yet, the most important thing you can do in this silence is to hold on to the truth. Hold on to the truth that God called you, that He has a purpose for your life, and that nothing, no rejection, No, silence. No betrayal can undo what he has destined for you. In the midst of the waiting, you are being refined. You are being forged into something unshakable, something that will stand the test of time. The refining fire may sting, but it is burning away what cannot stand with you in the next season. And when the dross is gone, only pure gold remains, the kind that carries God's fingerprint. This is the essence of Isaiah 40-31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Even when it feels like nothing is happening, God is working. He is renewing your strength in the silence, and He is preparing you to soar like an eagle when the time comes. Just like the eagle, your moment to take flight will come, and when it does, nothing will be able to stop you. The long wait will only make the flight more breathtaking, the soaring more unstoppable. And as the wind carries you higher, you'll realize the silence wasn't wasted. It was the runway for your takeoff. In the end, the questions you carry are not meant to break you. They are meant to strengthen your resolve. The doubts you face are part of the process. They refine and purify your faith, making you stronger for what is to come. Like a sword being forged in fire, you are being sharpened through the silence, prepared for a purpose that will outshine all the doubts and rejections you faced. And once sharpened, your life becomes a weapon of light in a dark world, cutting through lies and despair. You are being readied for battles you cannot yet see, victories you cannot yet imagine, and testimonies that will outlive your name. And yet something deep in you would never fully let go of the truth. You hold on to that truth like a lifeline in a storm, and it is this truth that will be your anchor in the days to come. This is the moment you rise. The doubts will fade, and what will remain is your unshakable trust in God's plan. The truth will stand firm, and you will stand tall, unbroken by the silence, stronger because of it. Now is the time to stand firm in what you know to be true. The God who called you will not let you fail. When the silence ends, you will not just emerge, you will emerge radiant, refined, and ready. There's a deeper truth that others haven't yet understood. And it's not about fantasy. It's not about living in a world of wishful thinking or unrealistic dreams. What you recognized was something holy, a divine calling, a sacred purpose that was always within you, but hidden from the eyes of the world. In Isaiah 55:8, God declares, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways." What others couldn't see, what they dismissed, was God's divine fingerprint on your life, shaping your journey, guiding your every step. You were always walking on a path marked by His hand, even when the world only saw a winding road of confusion. Have you ever wondered why God has been so quiet in the hardest moments? Why, in those dark hours, He remained silent as you walked your path, as though waiting for the world to see what He already knew? His silence was never abandonment, it was preparation. Your calling was already in motion, but His plan is often too grand for immediate recognition. The truth is, God doesn't reveal His plans prematurely, because His timing is perfect. In those silent moments, you were being shaped, crafted into someone who could carry His purpose. But let's not forget the Judas in the story, those who will always be close enough to you to kiss you with betrayal. Judas Iscariot, one of Jesus' most trusted disciples, chose to betray Him for 30 pieces of silver, and in doing so, he sealed his own fate. Like Judas, some will always remain around you, pretending to support you. But when the time comes, they will betray you for their own gain. But betrayal is not the end of the story. Just as Jesus rose victorious after his crucifixion, your destiny will rise, despite their betrayal. And just like Judas, whose betrayal could not stop God's purpose, those who oppose you will be exposed, and they will be left to witness the fulfillment of your purpose. Do you ever feel the weight of those who betray you? Those who claim to love you but only serve themselves? It can feel overwhelming. Yet remember, their actions will never define you. God already knew the journey you would walk, and he already knows how he will use it for his glory. He's never been surprised by their betrayal, because he has always been in control. Let's be honest, you've had to live for a while as the one who almost made it. The world didn't understand your timing, your pace, your struggles. They labeled you as the one who almost made it, the one on the cusp of greatness but never quite breaking through. But you were never waiting on external validation. You were waiting on God's perfect timing. This waiting season wasn't about delay, it was about preparation. Like the mighty river that carves its path through the land, slowly, quietly. It wasn't rushing to its destination, it was shaping the landscape, making a way where there seemed to be none. And now, that river is about to burst forth with unstoppable force. Have you ever questioned your pace, wondering if you were behind everyone else? Missing your moment? You've been waiting, patiently growing and developing in secret, and yet the world never noticed. God's timing is not our own. While the world rushes, he prepares his vessels. In the silence, in the stillness, you were being refined. Now, you will be revealed not because of your efforts, but because of God's divine orchestration. Just as the Pharaoh of Egypt hardened his heart against the Israelites, refusing to let them go, there will always be those who resist your freedom and growth. The Pharaoh didn't understand that God's plan was already unfolding, no matter how hard he tried to stop it. He didn't see that. While he thought he was in control, God was moving the pieces of his divine plan. Even now, there will be those who question you, mock you, or stand in the way of your breakthrough. But just like Pharaoh, who was ultimately overthrown, they will fall, while you will rise not because of your own power, but because of the divine power that fights for you. Have you ever felt like you were surrounded by opposition, by those who seem to have all the power? The pharaohs of the world stand tall, full of pride and arrogance, but they are blind to the truth of God's plan. They believe in their own strength, but when God moves, their pride becomes their downfall. Just like Goliath, the mighty warrior who fell before David's simple faith and God's power, your enemy's might will be brought low, and you will rise in God's strength, the one with something unexplainable about them, too spiritual for some, too grounded for others, too aware to stay blind, too kind to become bitter. You've always walked in the tension of being too much for some, not enough for others. Some saw you as too deeply spiritual, while others thought you lacked practicality. But the truth is, the very qualities that seemed to isolate you were the ones that made you uniquely positioned to fulfill God's purpose. Like a tree standing tall in the middle of a storm, your roots have been dug deep into the soil of divine wisdom. And now, that wisdom will be your strength. You were too aware to be complacent, too kind to let bitterness root itself in your soul. and that made you a person who could hold the weight of God's favor without breaking under it. Think about Goliath, the giant who stood tall, mocking and defying the Israelite army. Goliath thought his strength was enough to win, but he underestimated the power of a humble shepherd boy with God on his side. Goliath, despite his size and might, fell in an instant because his pride blinded him to the truth. Similarly, your enemies may be loud, proud, and confident in their strength, but they are blind to the truth of God's favor upon your life. They, too, will fall, and you, like David, will rise not because of your own power, but because of the divine power that fights for you. You've had to master how to stand tall while being sized up, is studied and second-guessed by people who never saw beyond the surface. For years, people have watched, judged, and questioned you, sizing you up based on their limited perceptions, looking at the surface and missing the depth beneath. But you learned to stand tall through it all. Not because you were trying to prove a point to them, but because you were secure in the knowledge that your true worth is in the hands of God, not in the judgment of others. Like a mountain that stands unshaken amidst the fiercest storms, you have endured the winds of criticism and remained unmoved. As Psalm 18:2 says, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress and my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge." Is the men, but now that season is ending. The waiting, the questioning, the uncertainty, it is coming to a close. This is the moment where heaven is about to interrupt the narrative. You were never forgotten. God has been preparing you for this moment. And now He's about to correct the record. The lies, the misunderstandings, and the false judgments placed upon you will be dismantled. Just as the walls of Jericho fell at the sound of God's command, the walls of doubt and discredit built around you are now about to crumble. The truth will rise, and it will be seen for what it is. God will make sure that the world knows who you are in Him, not to inflate your ego, but to correct the record. This isn't about pride or boasting. It's about God's glory being revealed in your life. Just as Jesus healed the blind man in John 9:3. But this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. Your moment of revelation is for God's glory, to show the world what He can do when someone aligns with His purpose. This isn't about proving anything. It's about the manifestation of God's truth in your life that no one can deny anymore. His favor is your testimony, and that favor will begin to speak louder than any criticism or doubt. Because when God assigns favor, He doesn't ask for permission. God's favor doesn't wait for approval. It doesn't wait for the world to agree. Just as Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, but rose to power in Egypt without needing anyone's permission, God has assigned favor to your life, and it will elevate you. You don't need to ask for it, plead for it, or work for it. You simply need to align with God's will, and the favor will follow. When God's favor moves in your life, no person, no situation, and no circumstance can block it. Just like a flower that blooms regardless of the harshness of the soil, God's favor will cause you to thrive, no matter where you're planted. And when the hour finally strikes for your unveiling, nothing, no whisper of gossip, no shadow of rumor can conceal what heaven has been refining beneath the surface all these years. Like molten gold hidden in the rock, your story has been burning in silence, waiting for the blast of divine timing to break it open. Isaías 60:1 declares: Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. And this is precisely the hour when what looked buried suddenly blazes for all to see. The stunning truth is that your reputation is not being repaired like cracked pottery, it is being rebuilt like a cathedral, stone by stone, from the inside out, with heavenly architecture no human hand could draft. People once mistook your silence for surrender, but in reality, wasn't that silence the stillness of a warrior sharpening his sword? They labeled your patience as passivity. Yet, in God's frequency, it was resonance, your spirit aligning with a higher wavelength. Like the deep hum of a cosmic string that waits until the universe itself bends to its vibration. This means your silence was never absence, it was incubation. It was not defeat, but divine restraint. A sacred pause designed to confuse the arrogant and exalt the humble. Even now, can you not sense how the timing of heaven is breaking through the cracks of time itself to expose what was hidden? But pause and ask, how many times did they confuse humility with unreadiness? 1 Samuel 16:7 reminds us, the Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Your humility was never weakness, it was divine disguise. Strategy woven into your very DNA. The world's assumptions were faulty equations, miscalculations in the physics of destiny, because they failed to account for the architect who was drafting your blueprints in eternity. Just as architects leave hidden support beams behind majestic structures, your hidden years were the beams that carry the weight of the calling about to be revealed. Doesn't it strike you that every delay you endured was not a denial, but a careful calculation in God's timetable? Those who thought you were behind schedule will soon realize you were operating on a divine clock that can never be late. And now the alignment has shifted. This is no longer a season of passing unnoticed. It is a season of divine reversal, where what bypassed you now circles back. Revelation 3:8 says, "See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. And that door has your name carved on it like marble etched by fire." A fisherman named Caleb from a small coastal town once said, "People mocked my silence, but it was in silence that God taught me how to hear." He was unknown, ordinary, yet when his business flourished overnight, the same voices who mocked came back in awe. What was mocked yesterday became undeniable today. Doesn't this sound familiar to your own path? And isn't it striking how the very people who dismissed you will one day be forced to testify about your elevation? The circle is complete. What once ignored you now pursues you, because heaven has placed a seal on your destiny that human opinion cannot break. Psalm 23:5 declares, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." And the overflowing cannot be denied. This is the hour when what was once denied is now stamped, approved by the courts of heaven. The verdict is final. Jeremiah 2:97 proclaims, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." You stand not at the mercy of opinions, but in the authority of divine orchestration. What was hidden has become revelation. What was delayed has become acceleration. This is not restoration, it is transformation. Metamorphosis on a supernatural scale. And the beauty of it all is that those who witnessed your lowest moment will also witness your rise. For God does not rewrite stories in private. He displays them on the grand stage of destiny. The silence of yesterday has become the symphony of today. echoing across every sphere of your life until even the doubters are silenced by undeniable evidence. Rise now. Chosen one, do not bow to the faint memory of old shame. Lift your head, for your reputation has already been rewritten by the author of eternity. Heaven has stamped your name with approval, and no voice, no power, no system can erase it. Stand up, because the world will no longer ignore you. The new you is too unreal, too undeniable, too God-breathed to be silenced again. And when you rise, rise not timidly, but boldly. For every step you take is a declaration that God's timing is perfect and His word cannot fail. The shadows that once mocked your silence will now tremble at your voice, because the appointed hour has arrived and nothing can stop what heaven has already decreed. You will recognize the shift, not because the world suddenly grows kinder, but because what once came as resistance begins to sound eerily like reverence. The same voices that once dismissed you as a dreamer will whisper in awe. Realizing you were never chasing illusions, you were the blueprint written in heaven. John 15:18 reminds us, "If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first." And suddenly their hostility becomes a backhanded confirmation that you were set apart. Isn't it extraordinary that the insults of yesterday become the evidence of your calling today? The applause you're about to hear will not be the clapping of men, but the resonance of heaven echoing through your very life. Because reputation built by God is never staged, it is seismic, shifting atmospheres. And in that seismic wave, every mocking word once thrown at you will crumble like unstable structures against an earthquake. For divine approval always dismantles human judgment. What they once called arrogance will be exposed as holy confidence, and what they labeled weakness will shine as divine strategy. Doesn't it stir something in you to know that your very existence is becoming the proof text of heaven's architecture? It happened not because you begged for a platform, but because you kept becoming when nobody was watching. You became steady when storms raged and chaos tested every fiber of your being. James 1:12 declares, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life." And you stood in that fire long enough for God to crown you in silence. You became generous when your pockets were nearly empty, proving that your wealth was never measured by numbers, but by the abundance of your spirit. You became wise when the only textbook in your hands was pain, and your tears turned into sacred ink writing lessons that no university could teach. Doesn't it strike you that the very wounds which tried to destroy you became the foundation of wisdom you now carry? That foundation is undeniable, unshakable, and unreplicable, because it was laid with bricks of endurance mortared with faith, and those bricks are now cathedrals in the unseen, a fortress of character whose architecture was not designed by man, but by eternity itself. Each silent sacrifice you made was like a cornerstone laid in heaven's blueprint. And now that invisible cathedral will begin to manifest invisible honor. Isn't it astonishing how pain, when baptized by faith, becomes the professor of your destiny? And this shift in your reputation, this divine unveiling, isn't some cleverly staged marketing strategy. It is not manufactured by influence, it is born of eternity. Galatians 6:9 proclaim, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." The harvest has arrived, and the roots you nurtured in obscurity are now pushing through the surface. Unstoppable. When people thought you were behind, weren't you actually ahead, backed by heaven itself? When God endorses you, human approval becomes irrelevant. And when His voice says, "Go," no system, nor gate. No man can say, "Stop." And in that unveiling, the very systems that excluded you will have to bow to the divine decree that has already gone forth. What once seemed like delay was actually calibration. Like an orchestra tuning in silence before the grand symphony begins. Doesn't it ignite your spirit to realize that every hidden rehearsal is about to erupt into a performance orchestrated by heaven's hand? Your reputation is not simply what people mutter behind closed doors. It is what your life echoes without ever speaking. And what will your life echo now? It will thunder recognition, not in hollow fame, but in a resonance that shakes atmospheres with peace. Isaiah Kapkutkul promises, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." Suddenly, you will walk into places that once triggered every nerve in your body and feel unmoved. Like a fortress unmoved by the storm. You will hear the opinions that once chained you, but now they clang uselessly against the armor of God on your shoulders. Doesn't it astonish you that envy and projection will lose their power when you stride past them carrying the fragrance of heaven? And as you carry that fragrance, even silence will speak louder than speeches, because peace itself becomes your announcement. The storm will rage outside, but you will remain as steady as a metronome, keeping heaven's rhythm in chaotic rooms. Isn't it miraculous that while others scramble for applause, your stillness itself will command reverence? Artists and leaders of history echo this truth. The renowned painter Vincent van Gogh once said, "What would life be if we had no courage to attempt anything?" He painted beauty while the world called him mad, yet today, his name stands immortal while his critics are forgotten. Likewise, your courage to keep becoming invisible is about to silence every doubt. And as in the medieval hymn, "O Sacred Head," now wounded, where sorrow transforms into victory, your own scars will soon sing the anthem of triumph. The silence of your scars becomes a psalm, a testimony that suffering is not the end, but the sculptor of divine identity. Those who laughed will become the audience to a story they never believed could be written. And what is more, your testimony will not simply inspire, but also dismantle the lies of impossibility. Isn't it breathtaking to realize that your scars are turning into sacred signatures of glory? Rise, chosen one. Do not shrink in this hour of unveiling. Your reputation has already been rewritten by heaven's pen, and the story cannot be reversed. Stand boldly, for this is the time when your echo is no longer silence but symphony, no longer resistance but reverence. Walk forward, because what God has stamped, approved, no man, no spirit, no opposition can deny. This is the hour when faith must move from whisper to thunder, from trembling to triumph. Every fiber of creation now testifies that you were born for such a time as this. And if you rise now, heaven itself will rise with you, amplifying your voice until eternity remembers your stand. When the shift finally breaks open, your reputation is no longer something fragile in your hands. It is something held and shaped by the very hand of God, who declares in Isaiah 54:17, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." Can you sense the weight of that truth? That the author of the universe has taken over your narrative. Suddenly, the opportunities ahead of you will look nothing like the neat checklist of resumes or carefully planned strategies. Instead, they will arrive like wild fruit ripening out of season, sweet and undeniable, not because of formula, but because of divine favor. Isn't it astonishing to realize that heaven can whisper your name into rooms where your effort never walked? Much like seeds carried by the wind into gardens They were never planted, yet still bloom. And in that moment, you realize that every hidden tear was watering unseen soil. Every unnoticed sacrifice was building invisible equity in the kingdom of heaven. What once looked like delay now reveals itself as divine design, proving that God's timing is not late, it is surgical, precise, and unstoppable. And here lies the paradox. Not because you campaigned for attention, but because your authenticity, your very becoming, has reached a kind of critical mass, like pressure building in the core of the earth until it births a mountain that cannot be ignored. When you stopped begging to be seen through the cracked lens of past failure, you entered the realm of Psalm 42. He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. Isn't it powerful that the glow you once tried to explain away now speaks louder than explanations ever could? You ceased to translate your spirit for those determined to misunderstand it. And like an eagle molting its feathers, you emerged with wings that stretch higher than before. Every scar became a signature of resilience. Every season of silence became a rehearsal for the sound of breakthrough. What others misjudged as weakness was actually strength being forged in secret fire, waiting for its appointed unveiling. Yet, as every story reveals, there are always those who resisted. History tells us of Voltaire, the French philosopher who mocked scripture and declared that Christianity would be dead within his lifetime, yet years later, his very home was used to print Bibles. What does that tell you about the futility of fighting against God's will? Those who dismissed you with arrogance will one day alter their tone, not because their hearts are purified, but because they are cornered by evidence too radiant to deny. They will shift from ridicule to curiosity, much like Pharaoh, who hardened his heart until the Red Sea swallowed his army. Exodus 14:28. Isn't it remarkable that what once mocked you will be forced to testify of you? Their pride will fracture under the weight of undeniable truth. Their whispers will turn into trembling acknowledgments. Their hostility will reveal itself as weakness. Because nothing can stand unshaken when God Himself decides to exalt His chosen. And here is the climax. You don't need revenge. Because what God orchestrates is infinitely greater than vengeance. Your life is echoing Romans 8:31. If God is for us, who can be against us? The people who once whispered in the shadows will soon speak in the open, their words trembling not out of loyalty, but out of awe. Your identity is no longer a campaign, it is a coronation. And the sound of heaven's trumpet is announcing your arrival. Stand up now, because your season is not just approaching, it has already begun. And as you rise, feel how peace clothes you like armor and joy burns in your chest like fire. This is not a passing phase, it is the fulfillment of prophecy written long before you took your first breath. The crown you carry is not borrowed, it is eternal, and its weight will silence every accusation that ever tried to bend you. This is what it looks like when God Himself clears the fog off your reflection, the divine unveiling that makes even shadows tremble. You are not stepping onto a stage for an introduction, you are being revealed as though the curtain of eternity has been pulled back. Isn't it astonishing that while anyone can create ripples with false performance, true resonance can only come from alignment with heaven's frequency? John 8:32 declares, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." And that truth is what separates revelation from illusion. The world has seen plenty of pretenders. But what happens when God Himself designs the stage and sets the light? Only the chosen ones rise by alignment. Only they ascend without selling their soul. Because elevation in God's kingdom is not transactional, it is transformational. And can you feel the weight of this? You are not climbing ladders built by men. You are standing on foundations drafted by the architect of eternity, where every line resonates like a symphony of divine geometry. That's who you are chosen. Revealed. Undeniable. You never fought to be noticed by human eyes. You fought to remain faithful in the unseen chambers where silence echoed louder than applause. Isn't it powerful to realize that unseen obedience carries more weight in heaven's courts than public performance on earthly platforms? Matthew 6:6 affirms this mystery. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. And indeed, the reward is here. Your unveiling is permanent, not passing, like the quiet but unshakable resonance of a tuning fork. Your consistency has produced a vibration the world cannot silence. I once heard of a tailor named Miriam in a forgotten village, who said, "I sew even when no one buys, because every stitch is a prayer." She stitched in obscurity, but her garments clothed generations, and now your story mirrors hers. Doesn't it stir you that the stitches of your unseen faith are now weaving a tapestry too radiant for the world to ignore? Your story no longer needs defense, it is its own testimony. Revelation 3:8 echoes this truth. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. Now I too now walk forward without fear, because you no longer carry the burden of convincing anyone. Isn't it liberating to know that your presence preaches louder than words? That your silence is now thunder clothed in grace. Your walk speaks with authority. Your presence resonates like a cathedral bell reverberating through stone walls. And your story finally sings with clarity. Philippians 1:6 assures you, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. They're not just seeing a face, they are witnessing the unveiling of destiny. A revelation orchestrated by heaven, and when the King of Kings stamps approved upon your life, what gate, what critic, what force of opposition could ever close the scroll? Rise, chosen one, do not shrink back, because the era of unveiling has begun, and the world cannot turn its eyes away. When God changes your reputation overnight, it is not a random shift, it is a divine unveiling. What once seemed hidden in shadows is now displayed in light. Just as Isaiah 60:1 declares, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." You, as one of God's chosen ones, are not being reintroduced to the world. You are being revealed for who you were always meant to be. That transformation is too real, too undeniable, and too supernatural for anyone to ignore. This moment is not only about what people now see in you, it is about what heaven has already declared over you. Your name, your character, and your purpose are no longer subject to rumor or falsehood. They are aligned with God's truth. When He shifts your story, even your enemies will be forced to acknowledge it. Just as Proverbs 16:7 says, "When the Lord takes pleasure in anyone's way, He causes their enemies to make peace with them." End quote. So, walk boldly in this new season without fear, without hesitation, because your reputation is no longer in the hands of men, it is secured by the author of eternity. This is your call to rise, to keep walking in holiness, and to keep shining, because your testimony is not only for you, it is a light to the world. If this message has spoken to your spirit today, don't forget to like this video. Share it with someone who needs encouragement. Leave a comment about how God has been shifting your life. And subscribe so you never miss another word meant for your journey. To everyone who has supported this channel, whether through super thanks or simply through your presence and prayers, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Your faith and your time here mean more than you know. And now, I bless you in the mighty name of Jesus. May peace overflow in your home. May clarity fill your mind. May strength rise in your spirit. And may every hidden promise God has spoken over your life begin to manifest. Walk forward with courage, because heaven has already spoken. Your reputation has changed. Your story has shifted, and your breakthrough is here.